Has there ever been a time in your life when you've had a deep pain in your gut that something was wrong? Maybe it was in a relationship you knew that just wasn't working. Maybe you realized you didn't have a board quite as good as the one you just heard. Or maybe it was a company you were working with and your value system just didn't align with theirs. Well, that's what happened to me. I woke up about 10 years ago with that pain deep inside my stomach, that something was wrong. I was working for a tired old service and distribution company where the industry hadn't changed much in over 60 years. And this was our image. Yep, the sea with the upside down dead mosquito. It gets worse. I'm the CEO of that train wreck. My name is Lyell Clarke, and I'm the president and CEO of a third-generation family-owned and operated business. And from the time I was about 13 years old, my grandmother said, "You're going to be president of that someday." That sea with the upside-down dead mosquito. We had a fleet of fuel-guzzling vehicles. We had very inefficient operations, piles of paperwork. And I knew there had to be more. But the question was, what was the right first step? I wanted to create a company with greater purpose, but what was that first step? In 2008, in the early summer, we were about to have my management retreat. And I was talking to the facilitator, and I said, I'm going to talk about changing. And he's like, hold on. You can't just send out a memo that you're going to change and create this company with greater purpose. This is a journey that you're going on. And we're going to start this meeting and start that journey at your retreat, but you have to have a compelling reason why you should change. And I'm like, great. I have no idea. So it wasn't long after that, I was in the pool with my adopted son from Russia. We adopted him when he was 16 months old. He's now 3.5 months old. We're at the community pool. I'm standing in the pool. He's standing on the side, and he's going to show me that he can jump in the water. And I'm just like, Joe, come on, jump, jump. And finally, he gets the courage to jump, and he sinks right to the bottom. I'm like, Joe, come up. Please come up. And he finally comes up, and as he breaks the surface of the water, he's like, I did it. What's next? And I thought about that over the weekend. And on Monday morning, I'm heading out to the retreat, and I stopped at the gym to run and try to figure out what that compelling reason was that we needed change. And all of a sudden, I got it. Finished my workout, got in the car, called my assistant, and said, Patty, tell everyone to bring bathing suits, flip-flops, and if they've already left, tell them to stop and buy them. And this is the memo she sent out. I love this. I have no idea why. So we get to the retreat. We start the meeting. Everyone has their bathing suits on. And I tell them the story of Joe and the courage that he took to leap into the water. Tears are running down my face as I ask them. I tell them, I don't know where we're going. I just know we have to go. and I need you to take a leap of faith with me. And so that evening, we started imagining, who are we now and who do we want to be? And we were the 2500 series Chevy pickup and Rambo and the reliable lab. And who do we want to be? We want to be Kermit the Frog, went closer to nature, a Prius. And finally someone said, we want to be a salmon that swims upstream and sacrifices itself for the next generation. And then I knew we were on our way. At the end of that evening, we all jumped in the pool together, and we started our journey. And I think there are 4 kind of lessons learned in this 10-year journey. And the first one was, build from what you already have and what you're good at. Create a shared vision and co-design with all your shareholders. And I love this quote from Peter Drucker. The task of leadership is to create an alignment of strengths, making your system's weaknesses irrelevant. And we use a system called Appreciative Inquiry. It's a strength-based approach to organizational development, pioneered by David Cooper-Ryder and Ron Fry. And where we really got traction was when we did our first Appreciative Inquiry Summit, where you bring the whole system in the room with you. You bring your employees, your customers, your community and partners. Everyone gets together because everyone matters. And we go through a 2.5-day 4D process. And it's an amazing thing. You start with discovery. And you talk about your proudest of proud moments at Clarke or in your personal life, and all of a sudden strengths begin to surface. And then the facilitators say, imagine you go to sleep, and you've had the best sleep you've ever had, and you wake up 5 years later. What does Clarke look like? So you go through this dream phase. And then you go through some brainstorming exercise and some rapid prototyping, and you begin to design maybe 8 or 10 potential opportunities that you have. And that will lead you to preparing for your destiny. And the second thing I learned was create some focus and that'll enable your organization. And we called it Project Greater Purpose. And it gave us organizational focus. We created a sustainability advisory board and 5 key committees based on our Appreciative Inquiry. Sustainable business, it's just everything you do inside your business. Communication and education is where we have on a quarterly basis, we have thought leaders come in and talk to us about sustainability and climate change and conscious capitalism. And the Good Earth Committee, because we need to do what we're doing at work, we need to do it at home as well. And social responsibility is our giving back both locally and globally. And of course, health and wellness is we want the healthiest coworkers we possibly can have. And so by doing that, we quickly migrated from the sea with the upside down mosquito to a public health company that helps communities around the world become more livable, safe, and comfortable. And our third learning, I think, was set some big goals, and then you might have to reset them. And we set some goals about reducing our waste. And between 2010 and 2014, we reduced our waste stream by 64%. We had to reset a new goal. And we wanted to reduce our carbon by 25%, and we did that by 2014, so we had to reset that goal. And then we wanted to have at least 10% of our energy from on-site renewables, and in fact, we're already at 12.3%. And one of the main reasons is that we just have a new operation facility we opened that's designed to produce more energy than it uses. Between solar and geothermal and good insulation, we create more energy than we need. That's flourishing. And we wanted to give back both locally and globally. We set a goal of 10 hours per coworker per year. We're already at 18. And we wanted to give back to other environmental organizations. So we take a certain percent of our revenues from what we call our next-gen products, which are organically certified products that actually control mosquitoes. And we give it back to nonprofit environmental organizations in 7 regions of the world. And since inception, we've given about $500,000. And the thing my proudest of proud is our Clarke Cares Foundation that we organized. And we partner with Jimmy Carter's foundation, the Carter Center. And the foundation raises money, and my company matches it dollar for dollar, and we buy bed nets. And we ship them to Nigeria, and the Carter Center team gets them and takes them to the areas where they are trying to control lymphatic filariasis. Lymphatic filariasis is transmitted by the same mosquito that transmits malaria, but it causes, you'll know it as elephantiasis. It causes swelling of your extremities. And so they take it there and they provide drug therapy, education. They teach the residents how to use the bed nets, and they've eliminated lymphatic filariasis in 2 states in Nigeria. And I tell you that if you don't think a medium-sized company can make a difference, you're wrong, because we're doing it. And why are small, medium-sized companies so important? Well, they represent about 45% of the GDP of this country, and they hire about 47% of the employees. So I think they're a really important part of conscious capitalism. And the 4th thing is to encourage people to bring their whole selves to work. And if one definition of a flourishing enterprise is where business is prospering and coworkers are thriving and nature is flourishing, innovation's coming from every corner of the organization, and you're allowed to bring your whole self to work. So we interviewed a couple of our kind of rising stars at the company, and Liz talks about, I have a very good work-life balance, and yet my work and my life are completely intertwined. And John Ostrowski, who's our regulatory manager, my work needs to align with my moral compass. Here I know it's bettering people and the world. And then we have Letitia Leroy, our senior formulation scientist, probably the most innovative person at our company. And she says, we try to get innovation coming from everywhere, accountants, scientists, customer care team members. Everyone gets to innovate. The result, I think, is that we have a much better culture. Recruiting is much easier. Our customer engagement is amazing. Innovation is coming from every corner of our organization, and yet our costs are down. We have a retention rate somewhere between 91 and 95%, and we have a significantly less environmental impact. I think we're a totally transformed company. Now, you know what? We're transforming, because that journey never stops. But I do think we're well on our way becoming a flourishing public health company. So what's next? What does the future hold? Well, we thought we'd ask 30 big thinkers to share their thoughts on the future. These just happen to be children and grandchildren of our coworkers. So if we could play the video real quick.
I'm excited for the future to begin. I'd imagine it to be really like chrome. Maybe cars will fly. Kids teleport to school. Food will be of vegetables like broccoli. You'd buy a pill for chicken dinner and you would eat it and it would taste like a chicken dinner. In the future, people will be more helpful and be really friendly to everybody. And the people won't be racist to other people. I think we'll be better at keeping the environment safe. There won't be any garbage. Use less electricity. Trees are a lot bigger than they are now. There might be less animals. Like the big buildings would have solar powered stuff. More people understand how to treat the world.
we're saving ourselves, but also we're saving life for other animals.
People just don't really take care of the environment and stuff. They're doing the best they can, but they just need a little more creativity. Kids have a bigger imagination than grown-ups. Kids. Yeah, I think kids take more chances. Like adults, they put like half of something up, and they're like, this isn't gonna work, but it may actually work. You guys all have your own inner kid instilled inside of you. You're not actually grown up until you think you are. The best thing about the future will be seeing where it's gonna take me.
So I ask you, is there a journey in your future? Thank you very much.